Tower of God Season 2 Episode 8. And I was beginning to think that this episode was a little weak. I was beginning to think that this episode was going to be the weakest out of all, the episodes we have had in this second season. But boy, was I wrong, because we later see that actually the episode was really hype. By the way, if I sound a little bit different, if this video sounds a little bit different, it is because I'm recording this in one go, so you're going to hear a lot of more me, a lot of more errors, my reading, I guess you can say defects or the bad things I normally edit out. So yeah, this episode review, and not only this, but I assume going forward, all the episode reviews are going to be a little bit different like this one. So yeah, if it sounds a little bit different, it's because of that. I think I will speak a little bit more about that in this episode review, but at the end. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. And by the way, if I sound like my voice is getting a little bit lower, it's because I'm usually, looking at my phone. So yeah, it is not because I'm not, whispering or anything like that. It's because I'm looking away from the microphone. So yeah, but like I was saying, this episode again, initially it seemed like it was going to be a little bit weak, a little bit boring. But again, I was wrong on that, because it was actually really hype. Probably the most hype episode we have had. I mean, the episode, what was it, 6? I think it was, when Khun was first introduced. It was actually really good, that episode. But I think this episode was even better, because we saw a lot of surprising things and a lot of things that we'll probably see in the future. For example, the whole thing about the bot Emily, that was a little bit surprising. I wasn't expecting an episode to feature something like that. I don't know about you all, but yeah. So what was the episode all about? Well, again, the episode was all about the bot Emily. This bot Emily seems to have a lot of information about basically everything that is going on in the Tower of God universe. So yeah, this bot seems to be a human, or maybe not, because that ending was a little bit weird. I don't know if I understood it well, but it seems to be a person, maybe a person that cannot walk. But yeah, I don't know what you all thought about that chat, or I should say that bot Emily. Is it a person? Is it some kind of maybe system or something weird like that? But it was mentioned that apparently a guy, or I assume a guy named Traveler, is going to visit the bot Emily. So yeah, Emily didn't seem to be that happy about it. I don't know if that was actually Emily that was shown, but whoever that was didn't seem to be that happy. It almost seemed that Emily almost wants to hate on humans, because she doesn't feel like she's a human herself. I don't know if that is the right interpretation of what was happening there, but yeah, I mean, it was a little bit weird seeing it throughout the whole episode. By the way, you hear any sounds in the background, any cars, any people, again, sorry for that. I'm recording this in one go, so yeah, sorry if you hear any noises in the background. But like I was saying, this episode was really good. We also saw something that I wasn't expecting at all. There was actually a time skip in this episode. I don't know if you all noticed, but the episode actually started really weird. I was wondering what was happening, because it started with the BAM group and also the Khun group basically taking an exam. All the regulars were taking an exam. So I was wondering what was going on, because in the last episode, I mean, it didn't seem like it was going to pan out like in this episode, like everything that happened in this episode. But apparently it was because there was a time skip. That was because that what is, or I should say, that is the reason why this episode was a little bit different than the last episode. It was because there was a time skip. So yeah, it is because of that. And I would assume it is about 2 years, the time skip, maybe a little bit less, because it was mentioned by Wagner that there's apparently only 2 months left before they go into the 30th floor where they're going to meet other regulars. So yeah, and I think it was mentioned in the last episode that it takes about 2 years for that to happen in the last episode. So yeah, I would assume that is the amount of time that has taken place from the last episode to this one. Maybe I'm wrong in that, so yeah, sorry if I am, but I think that is my calculations on it. So let me see what else I have written down on my phone. So yeah, they wanted to go to the 30th floor. Yeah, I also wonder if Bam will actually get to see Khun in the 30th floor. Maybe not, or maybe not, or I should say maybe yes. Maybe that is how this second season will end. I mean, I think it is heading that way, but I could be wrong on that. Maybe the second season will end in a cliffhanger where maybe they're not going to show it. Maybe it is going to happen in a third season if there is one. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered, and as we get closer to the end, definitely those questions are all going to be answered. So yeah, what else did I wrote down? So yeah, the ending was really weird. The whole thing about the bot Emily, her being maybe a system, some sort of weird system, or perhaps even a human. That is to be answered. Probably going to see that more in the next episode specifically. So yeah, I don't think it is going to be so long before we get an answer to that question. Yeah, Kun. Oh yeah, what else? I was going to mention about Kun. Kun in this episode actually learned about BAM, and that was actually really, really huge. I mean, I cannot stress that enough. I don't know if he actually believed it, but yeah, Kun apparently asked about Emily if Kun was, or I should say, yeah, I mean, Kun actually asked about Emily if, Bang was alive. And apparently the bot responded with a yes. Now the question is, does Kun actually believe the bot? I think that is the biggest question we can, make out of this episode because, yeah, does he actually believe the bot? Because, I mean, if he does, that is actually really huge. I mean, we see his face in this episode. He was really, really surprised, and that's putting it lightly. So, yeah, I mean, out of all the things that came out of this episode, that was definitely the biggest one of them all because, yeah, the ball was surprising. Yeah, the time skip was surprising. I was definitely not expecting that at all. I was expecting this episode to be sort of a continuation of the last episode with no time skip in between. But definitely, again, the biggest thing of them all was, potentially Khun believing the bot that, Bam is alive. So I wonder what will happen going forward with Khun because if he does believe that Bam is alive, how will his strategy change? Will he do something different? Will he treat, Rachel differently? I'm not saying that he's going to treat her better, but, maybe differently. Also, I wanted to mention something about Rachel. We actually saw her in this episode trying to turn, I guess his name is Dan, against everyone else. Yeah, it seems like she's trying to, plant that seeds on Dan's head that maybe, the party that he's in does not treat him very fairly, does not treat him good. So, yeah, I think Rachel is already trying to, maybe cause havoc among the party of, Khun. So yeah, she's definitely not a nice person as we saw in this episode. I mean, what else can we say about her other than she's a bad person? So yeah, but I don't know what you all thought of this episode. It was definitely a very good episode. I would dare to say that it is probably the best episode we had had on show yet. And it is pretty ironic because again the episode started in my opinion pretty deceptive because it seemed like it was going to be a pretty weak episode. It seemed like it was going to be only an episode focused, on Bam party and on Kun's party, just basically checking a challenge and exam. And yeah, that is how the episode started. And again, it was a little bit deceitful because that is not how the episode panned out. It was actually a lot better than that. So I wonder what the episode, or I should say the next episode is going to be all about. I would assume there's not going to be another time skip, because we already have two time skip. That one at the beginning of this season and now, the last episode to this episode, there was another time skip. So yeah, I would dare to say that there's not going to be anything like that again. So yeah, like I was mentioning at the beginning of the review, if this episode review sounds a little bit different, it's because I'm recording this in one go. I'm still super rusty with it, so bear with me. As time goes on, as I make more reviews in this new style of recording, I'm probably going to get a lot better. Now, how much better will I get? I think that is the golden question because maybe I'm not going to get a lot better than this, but I would assume I will. So yeah, even though I'm a little bit rusty, even though sometimes I run out of ideas, I pause, I mispronounce things. I think that with time I will get a lot better. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this new style of recording. It's definitely different than my old style because in my old style it was very heavily edited. I basically edited everything that I didn't like out. So yeah, in this new way, there's a lot of more things that are happening in my recording. Like voices, like noises in the background, like my errors, and in general, this new style of recording is a little bit more natural, but again, also has its downside, if you can even call it like that. So yeah. And if you don't want to miss the next episode review, please subscribe to the channel. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up. And yeah, that will be everything by me. And I guess I'll see you all in the next episode review.